Peace, family. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Book of Gami. I'm Farragami. And this is Book of Gami episode. Wait, because I'm one off. Hold on 1 second. Let me pull back up to YouTube. I'm actually one off here. 19. Welcome to episode 19. It's a late episode. It's 10:10. Of course, it's 10:10. It's 10:10. Had a pretty productive but busy day. A lot of shit going on. Hurricane Florence, had to get goddamn prepped for that shit. But today I had an epiphany and I haven't forgotten it, and I want to share it with you all. When we're born, before all that shit happens, semen fertilizes egg, right? Then the embryo is born. Well, the first thing in that embryo, that was made, was your heart. From your heart, everything then came out, kind of like at this, like at that, You were born from your heart, and everything came out from there. Toroidal fields, one of those. I'm not really sure how to pronounce it, but if you aren't really familiar with toroidal fields, I'll do a whole video on what those are. But in brief, every conscious, every living thing on this planet has an energy field, and that's what toroidal fields are. They are energy fields that kind of look like an 8 with this right here, with the middle part being the center. That center of you, if you look at it, how it emanates from our heart. It comes out from your heart, envelops over your head, then back down, back into your heart. But at the same time, it goes from your heart down all the way across your body, and then back up into your heart. This toroidal field, everything has it, right? We are essentially born from our hearts. That's how we come from. Everything comes from the heart, right? That means that's the closest thing. That's the first thing that was made, which means that first thing is the closest thing we have to source. Source being spirit, God, universe, whatever you want to call it. I just choose to call it source. Our hearts are the closest thing that we have to source, right? Okay. Well, from our hearts come all of this fabulous stuff, arms and our teeth and our eyes, but then also our brains, right? Our brains, that's the shit that controls our fucking lives. But ironically, our brains are the things that can be the most influenced. Now, you can't really influence a thumb or a finger, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna just be a thing. What you can do with it, with your brain, is bend it, point it, and all this other crazy stuff. But our brain controls that shit, right? So if we think about this, right? If we move from being so brain conscious, right? So mental, and we get conscious of our hearts. Like, if you take that moment to actually be conscious that you have a heart, like, feel it. And I don't know if you're like me, it's like a warming sensation around it. If we move from the brain to the heart, and we move through the heart, meaning we take care of the things that we at source care about. That's family, that's loved ones, well, like significant others, that's personal goals and admirations, that's the way you just naturally treat other people. We take those things and our natural thoughts and our most pure ideas, and we move forward in those ideas. That's the closest we have to moving through source, right? So if we shift from being brain conscious to heart conscious and moving through the heart, right? Then with our brains, remember how I said earlier, they're just the most pliable thing. We could put anything into our brains, and then our brains just become focused on that shit. For example, if you got into aviation school and started studying that shit, your whole fucking brain mentality is on aviation. Your brain's not on aviation right now because you don't give a fuck about aviation. If you're into golf, your whole fucking brain is on golf. If you're a surgeon, your brain is on surgery. If you're an artist, your brain is on your art. Like, our brains get so consumed with the shit that we care about, or the shit that we think about, or 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 the shit that is programmed inside of us, to be inside of us, rather. That's your television programs, or the shit that we're just mass media forces down our throat to see, right? Stay with me here. So we've moved from our brains and we're living in our hearts, but now we're going to train our brains to be focused on the shit that's in our hearts. So not only are we moving through our spirit, but we're also constantly thinking in spirit as well. I know if you're like me, sometimes your body can you can just like kind of sit back and just like let your hand go and you start writing and you be like, these thoughts aren't even mine. Like, these thoughts aren't, I'm not, these are just thoughts that are just coming to me or whatever. I call that like being on autopilot. So this is the thing. If you're thinking about the airplane, an autopilot is going to be better than a rookie pilot off gate. Like, as far as you think about cruise control, you put your car on cruise control, that car is going to maintain 45 miles per hour way more easier than a first time driver is going to maintain 45 miles per hour. A plane is going to be able to fly straighter or maintain that altitude way better than a rookie pilot, right? But the most seasoned pilot and the most seasoned drivers are better than any cruise control and better than any autopilot. Those are mechanical things, right? Our spiritual autopilot, but when we live in our hearts and we just allow shit to just go, they say, oh man, that person was really speaking from the heart. Oh man, that person was really coming from the soul there, man. I can feel it in my spirit. That's when you allow things to just flow. When we do that, right, and we move through those ways and we start to influence the way we think through those ways, now when we shift off that autopilot, in the beginning where we're trying to fill our brains up with all of this conscious information that we actually care about, because it's just the shit that we're moving in our hearts in, not the shit that we're forced to care about, is fucking love and hip-hop and keeping up with the Kardashian shit. No, 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 no. When you're able to live in your heart and you're able to fill your brain up, when you switch from cruise control to autopilot or autopilot to cruise control, and you're able to master yourself, not autopilot to cruise control, autopilot to you being the conscious person, because moving through the spirit, that's your autopilot. But you want to be that experienced pilot where you can move through the spirit at all times. And you're never going to be better than spirit, because our spirit comes from the fourth dimension. We are fourth dimensional beings. We're in a three-dimensional realm right now. So there's no possible way we're going to achieve our maximum, because we are just entrapped here in a three-dimensional plane, a prism. We can't really do the things that we would normally do in the fourth dimension, because we don't have that fourth dimension. So we're never going to be able to beat that mechanical. Well, we're not gonna. We can beat the mechanical, but we're never gonna beat that spiritual autopilot. But we can become as close as we can to that one. And once you do that, my nigga, once you do that, and your brain is fully filled with the shit you care about and the shit that you're focused on and the shit you're doing, and you live in your heart, which is only the shit you care about and only the shit that you're doing, then my nigga, we are walking 100% in our purpose, in our paths, and everything has to go our way. Everything will go our way. Everything will go your way, because you're doing what you are supposed to be doing, because everything happens for a reason. And if you believe everything happens for a reason, that means that every single thing happens for a reason. So when you align yourself and you start doing those things in alignment, when you're moving out through your heart and you're thinking through your brain, and your brain is not filled with this bullshit, my guy, we're gonna be in this bitch. Now, it's a lot easier or harder to do than it seems, because we have to first deprogram ourselves from all the bullshit that is inside of our heads. Then we have to make that conscious shift from living in our brains to moving through our hearts, making sure that we do what we feel like doing, the things that resonate with us, the things that give us good vibes, the things that, you know, when you're doing some shit and you just feel it in your soul. I'm not supposed to be doing this shit. Don't do it, man. Don't do it. Do the shit that makes you feel good. Do the shit that makes you feel right. Do the shit that makes you feel like you are doing what you are supposed to be doing. Because once you do, everything else gonna come to you. All we have to do is move ourselves into the right position. We stay in the right position by doing the things to keep us in that position. Everything else gonna come to us. Now, my name is Farragami. I apologize. Today was a little lengthy, but yo, man, I had to get through that shit. I did have a little mental lapse at one point in time, but I don't edit these shits. So I ain't want to have no pauses. I wanted to keep talking through the shit, but I got everything out that I wanted to get out. So I do apologize for the long video. Well, we had 11 minutes. This is the longest book of Gami we done had, but yo, it's some real serious shit, bro. That's all we got to do, man. Every day, practice on moving through your heart and reprogramming your brain. Move through your heart, reprogram your brain. I want to thank y'all for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe, hit the little bell button for your automatic updates and everything. Follow me on all social media. Farragami, Farragami. Excuse me. Visit the website, www.farragami.com. I got music all over, Tidal, Apple Music, Spotify, all that good shit. I love y'all so much. I want you to be the best you could possibly be. Let's get lit. Peace.